Hi, listeners. I don't have much to say about this particular episode. It's a really good one. I will just say, however, keep an eye on that last scene. Intense.
I just move past her lips and down to her neck and just like start to bite in.
It'll break whatever power Big Man had over her. Ellen, you'll see just like a little smile spread across Big Man's lips, right across his face. What do you do?
This is a male authority figure hurting a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mark traumatized because
Okay.
this is what happens to me all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm going to stand up and I'm going to pick this chair desk up and I'm going to throw it at him.
Nice. Lash out physically.
It's not going to work, but I'm shaking. Not sure if I'm furious or freaked out or what. And oh no, that's not going anywhere near him.
I think you pick up the chair and like you just throw it kind of ineffectually. It just kind of goes really wide, right? And kind of like, just bangs up against something, right? And he just kind of like turns his head and says, "Little girl, you are really, really expending a great amount of energy on me when you should be expending a great amount of energy on him." And he looks at Thomas. "I mean, you wouldn't believe it, but he has, let's just say, a stiffy right now like you wouldn't believe. He's really, really into this. This is your move, girl. Make your move." He pulls out a cigarette in the middle of class and lights it up while Serena finishes feeding on Serra. And Sarah's just kind of like gasping and shaking. And Thomas is like he's on the edge of his seat. Just looks so freaking excited, right? Like he's just like looking at all this and loving it, right? I'm gonna take a string on you from Big Man. I'm gonna take a Thomas string on you as well. Just this whole situation is really, really like, like kind of seizing hold of your emotions, right? And then I'm gonna spend my string straight away. You get an XP if you do it. He says, "I tell you what, why don't you take that little boy outside the classroom over to the girls' bathroom and fuck his brains out."
I'm actually going to freeze there because one of the things that comes when I'm reminded of my death is that the people around me, they're to blame for me dying. That's sort of the fallout. So probably just frozen there.
Mm-hmm.
These are people everyone here, they're going to kill me. I'm going to die again. I don't know that consciously, but I think if you freeze or run away.
I'll just let you run away. Basically, you can take yourself out of the scene however you wish. Big Man's done taunting you. So, Margot, you run away. What do you do? Where do you go?
I think Margot's going to go out under the bleachers and smoke a bowl and try to calm down.
Nice. I'm into
You
it.
see her hand shaking as she's packing it in
Yeah,
and lighting up.
Yeah, I'm into that. Do you have any conditions that might remove for that?
I don't know if any of those would go away. I'm alive, little woman.
No, those still feel super
I
relevant.
think they still apply big time.
Yeah, they still feel super relevant. Well, okay, but let's say it works. You get your nerves calmed down, like you're all cool. Then what? Big Man's lesson would have taken a little while, right? Like all that would have played out over the series of like 20 or 30 minutes, right?
Okay, because what I was going to do is smoke the bowl, and then I'm going to go back to the school and go along to where the window that looks into the classroom is.
Oh, okay, good.
And take a look and see what's going on in there now that I've kind of steadied myself a little bit. And I'm like choosing to look at it rather than just having it dumped on me.
When you go look inside the window, you see everyone like sitting at their desk, writing down notes. You can't really hear what they're saying. You see Ellen, you see Serena. They're all like they're writing down notes, and everyone's paying attention to what Big Man is saying. And it looks like Big Man cracks a joke of some sort, and then everybody in the classroom is like, ha 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 ha. They laugh, right? Like it's just, he seems like a really good, engaging teacher. What do you do?
I'm like kind of dumbfounded by this, and I'm like, fuck it. I go into the school, and I'm gonna go in and come back to the classroom.
Good. Hold that thought. Jonah, Special Agent Bellefontaine puts you in the passenger side seat of his SUV, and he kind of like pulls out, right? And he says, "So, young man, where were you headed?"
You wouldn't understand.
Oh, I bet I would. Pulling out. Come on. You can tell me.
And I look at him and I'm like, so you're investigating the murders that happened here?
Yes, I am. And I tell you what, I have a theory about what's going on. Do you want to hear it?
Okay.
I think that someone set Mr. Thompson up. That's what I think. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, you know? These killings, the way they happen, they're all so different. And he kind of goes through some of the details like he did last session, right? The exsanguination. How can you do that on a teacher's salary, right? He loves that joke. He repeats it. What do you think? Do you have any theories about what do you think is going on?
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
I don't know, young man. I mean, I can bring the full weight of the federal government down on whoever did this. And that's not something to be trifled with, let me tell you.
Okay. And I look at him and I'm like, there's something in the woods that like mind controls people around here, and it just seems to be mostly the adults. So I mean, you should just go. I don't know, come back and like burn the forest down or something, because that's all that I can think of that could stop it.
So there's something that's mind controlling the adults. That's a very, very interesting theory. Very interesting. So where were you headed?
I was going to see Mr. Thompson.
Ah, he immediately makes a right turn towards the jailhouse and is going in that direction, not in the direction of the school.
You're taking me there?
Sure. Why not? And he keeps going. How do you know Mr. Thompson?
He was my teacher.
Oh. Really fit, huh, Mr. Thompson? Can tell he works out. Good shape.
I guess like so. Well, I don't really work out.
And he says, yeah, your teacher. That's really interesting. And he like pulls up to the parking lot of the police station and invites you to get out. Says, we're going to go have a conversation with Mr. Thompson. And
okay.
He's just going to take you there. Are you going to go with us? Are you rolling with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's continue this roller coaster.
He comes in, and I think the guy at the front desk, local cop, whatever, maybe you know him, someone's dad, right? He's kind of says what he intends to do. He wants to go like question Mr. Thompson. He's taking you with him, like, and all this other stuff. And I think that cop who's behind the desk, he pushes forward like a little legal pad that says, okay, yeah, but you got to sign in. And Special Agent Bellefontaine, he says, that's just like the locals, always getting up jumped about jurisdiction and who has control here. I'm so sick of it. If only we could just work together. He goes and signs in, escorts you back to the holding cell where they have Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson doesn't look good. And as you get closer and closer, you're feeling like those intense pangs of guilt, right? Like really intense. Like he's really, really thinking about he's going to do it. Like he's first chance he gets. He may not have the ability to do it in his jail cell, right? But he wants to do it. He'll find a way. He looks like crap. I mean, he's in a little like jumpsuit. He looks pale. He looks like clammy. It's really cold. He is, he just looks really disheveled and defeated. And he's kind of like sitting on the edge of his bunk, and his body is kind of like sunk in or whatever. And he looks up, and what do you say? What do you do?
I think what Jonah does is Jonah just stops in the doorway, just like right when he sees him, like right when he turns the corner or whatever, he just stops. Yeah, he's not moving any closer. And he's looking and he's seeing Mr. Thompson in this cell. And I think there's like, it like kind of hits Jonah that Mr. Thompson is not going to be around anymore. Like this is his path is now. He's going to be locked up. And so I think he's just going to look at Mr. Bellefontaine.
Special Agent Bellefontaine. Thank you very much.
He's an adult. He's a Mr. Bellefontaine. And so he's just going to look at him and he's going to be like, I want to go.
And Special Agent Bellefontaine says, his voice gets real quiet, like that concerned adult voice. He says, "Son, it's okay. He can't hurt you right now. It's going to be all right. Come on in."
And I'll walk in hesitantly, kind of get a feel. Mr. Thompson's obviously feeling like guilt, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. And he's seen me at this point.
Oh yeah.
I like sit down and like there's like this maybe this bench there or something.
Mm-hmm. We'll cut there. Let's go back to the classroom. Oh boy. You said you're just going in. You think everything is cool. You're just kind of going in and
maybe it's okay after all. So I kind of like slink in, if you will.
I kind of want to have him come in just as like maybe I'm coming up from feeding on Sarah.
Yeah, blood all over your face.
Like blood all over my face. And like I turn because I hear a sound and like you can see like blood dripping down, like you can still see the fangs in my mouth type thing. Is like I look to see who's coming into the classroom.
And you come in and you witness that. You witness everything as we've described it, and Serena like lifting her mouth off of Sarah's neck. Sarah, whose head is kind of lolled to the side and like breathing really rapidly, right? But still doesn't seem to quite know what's going on. Big man turns and sees you and says, "Well, I was wondering how long it was going to take you to come back. Margot, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling like you might lose control?"
Confused is what I'm feeling. And Serena, what the hell? And is everyone else except for Ellen and Serena and Thomas pretty much frozen or whatever, still kind of in a fugue state?
Yeah, I'm going to push on your shaking a little bit though.
Yep.
I think Big Man like interposes himself between you and the classroom and says, "Oh, Margot, I'm going to ask you the question one more time. How are you feeling right now? You feeling like maybe you might want to react emotionally, let out your inner demons?"
And you see me backing up against the wall, and I'm going to go the partial darkest self where I've said, I can just kind of like do this thing where I Hulk out without the full transformation.
Right.
Leave me alone.
He's like,
leave them alone.
Out of character, if you wolf out right now, what would you do?
What would I do? I would probably attempt to go after him, which I assume is going to be 100% ineffectual. And like if he tosses me back off on some poor civilian, that probably won't be too good for them.
Well, so maybe are you going to try to keep it together and not wolf out, or
I'm halfway there, and so I might go after him. And then if he tosses me off, then it'd be like, I think we should keep your cool. And if I fail that, then it's bad news for whoever's in here.
Okay. So you're kind of like in that middle state. I like that a lot. Lash out visibly.
6. So not so hot.
Not so hot. There's no help. So
now this will play out interestingly.
Monsterhearts.
Can I ask that if he throws Margot, that I'm the one he throws Margot into?
Well, and I think actually I'd like to go ahead and put us where we've been kind of angling with Margot and Ellen anyway. I'm going to take the opportunity of this miss to do it just in a more hard way. You're like kind of half wolfed out. You leap, mark XP. You leap at Big Man, and Big Man like just raises up a big mutton fist and like catches you by the neck, right? He just catches you by the neck and lifts you up. The size of his hand forces your head back, right? And kind of like lifts you up a little bit. Now, why don't you go ahead and calm down a little bit and take a look at that? And he like twists your head around, right, to look at Ellen. He goes, and he's kind of right up by your ear and says, "Where have you seen her before? Think really, really hard. Go back." And I think this is where it might be like triggering your memories of like Ellen and what you might have seen, right?
Yep. Flashback of me out in the woods, backpack and the beanie on, and seeing her dad digging and kicking a body in there. That obviously I see her face just before she goes deeper in the hole.
He says, "Do you see what I mean? There are lies everywhere you turn. Lies, lies, lies. How does that make you feel, Margot? You're still just like, you can't even talk. He's just fucking with you, right? But how does it make you feel?
I am terrified.
Mm,
Just
good.
absolutely terrified. The total lack of control.
I think you should take that. I think you should take that condition for sure. And then he just drops you. He says, "Well, we've got about 5 more minutes before class session is up." He goes. He likes gathering some things up. He says, "I hope you have all found this lesson today to be very, very instructional. I hope it has clarified your thinking." And he begins gathering his things. He says, "I'll tell you what. Let's have a special day. We get out of class a little early." And he grabs his things, just walks out the door like it's no big deal. So the question is, what about Serra, who's now bleeding from the neck?
I think as soon as like Big Man like walks out and she's like bleeding from the neck, like I'm probably doing everything I can to try to keep her alive and like maybe putting pressure on her neck. And
Yeah.
like as soon as she snaps out of it, are you okay? Like we should go to the nurse. Like let me walk you there. I think you need like orange juice or like a cookie or like
How are you going to explain the bite marks in her neck?
No idea yet.
Staple remover attack.
What about you, Ellen? What do you do as soon as like he lets out class a little bit early? Right.
I am going to run outside.
Okay, very good. You pass Thomas, and as you pass Thomas, I think because of your condition, I think you don't smell so good anymore. Not you smell, but like your olfactory powers aren't so great anymore. I think it's hard for you to like pick up on like different scents and smells in the air, just a byproduct of your condition, right?
Anosmia.
Yeah, indeed. But you smell Thomas. It's like strong. It's powerful. It's leafy. It's herbaceous. It's earthy. It smells like something you've smelled several times in your existence, about a half dozen times, in fact. It smells like the deep woods, but with just a hint of like bitterness, like something that like as humans we're trained not to put in our mouths because it'll kill us, right? You get that sense as you pass Thomas, just a little thing there. Thomas, for his part, stands up and he kind of looks at everybody and he's like, "That was fucking awesome." Where do you run to, Ellen? Where do you go?
I think I run outside past the field, past the bleachers, out to whatever like woods or whatever is out there, and I probably fall to my knees and I am digging at the ground, trying to dig myself a grave to hide in, tearing open, like probably losing fingernails in the process as I'm just kind of trying to do that until I come down off of that.
It sounds like you're kind of working through your trauma, right? Like that's what it sounded like to me. If you have any ideas about how you might be able to like rope another PC in, I'm open to it. But otherwise, I'd be happy to give you the benefit of the XP and maybe say that Thomas helped you or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. That it'll take me a while to get out of that, and probably at the end, I just kind of stop.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I've got like split, bloody fingernails,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forget what I was doing. Big scratch marks in the dirt there as far as I've dug down, my broken nails in there. And I'll probably just kind of wander back in to wash my hands.
Nice.
Getting that pink soap on it.
Yeah. That pink
kind of trying to forget about it.
I love it. Yeah, you can go ahead and take the benefit of that if you want. You can clear it and then mark an experience point. Jonah, I'm going to frame up the scene thusly. You are sitting on this like bench, probably like maybe 10 or 15 paces away, opposite wall of the cells, right? No other person in any of the other holding cells. It's just Mr. Thompson and you and Special Agent Edward Bellefontaine. And Bellefontaine, there's like a little steel table there. He opens up his briefcase and says, "Oh, look at that." And he pulls out like a manila folder that's right on the top and sits down next to you on the bench and says, "I'd like to share something with you, Jonah." He says your name now. And he shows you like a picture of a young man. Looks like it was like a headshot, like a school headshot, right? Something like that. He says, This young man's name is James. And James attended Mercy Falls High a few years ago. You would have been in the 3rd or 4th grade. He was a student of Mr. Thompson's, in fact. And Mr. Thompson is there just like looking really like dejected and maybe half paying attention, but like definitely like kind of caught up in his own stuff, right? He says, James, I'm sad to report, is no longer with us. He died. Pretty sad and miserable conditions, too. But James was a victim of Mr. Thompson. And when I say victim, I think you know what I'm talking about, right, Jonah?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I feel a little bad telling you this, but it's probably not the sort of thing that I should be sharing with someone of your age. But, well, will you keep it between you and me?
Okay.
Mr. Thompson had an unfortunate criminal relationship with James when James was a student at Mercy Falls High. Really tore James apart. He never really recovered from it. He had lots of, well, let's just say lots of issues with confidence and self-control. And Mr. Thompson was there for him when Mr. Thompson wanted something from him. And Mr. Thompson was not there for him when James started to lose control. When no one could reach him, things just got worse and worse and worse. Mr. Thompson was both an instigator of this unfortunate circumstance and in some ways an exacerbator by not doing the right thing. Isn't that right, Mr. Thompson? Mr. Thompson just kind of makes a moaning sound, you know. He closes the manila folder. Sounds like you want to say something.
I think there's this melancholic music that's starting to play as Mr. Bellefontaine is saying this, and I think Jonah is watching Mr. Thompson as well during this, and what he does is he's watching Mr. Thompson, and he wants Mr. Thompson to look at him. He's just gonna like kind of pull aside his flannel vest a little bit, and he's totally going to try and turn Mr. Thompson on. It's super twisted. He's basically doing this to, you know, kind of prove to himself that he's actually not in the same situation as this other guy, that he's actually in control. Right.
It was your decision. You were in control. I like that. That's interesting.
Right.
We'll turn someone on.
I got an 11.
Gain a string on him. And a reaction from below. I think he's going to promise something you think he wants, or you think he thinks you want, and he's not going to verbalize anything, but because you can sense his emotions, you know that like you're like giving him reason to live. Like he's feeling like, yeah, I'm not in the wrong. Like this was, you know, it was in the state of Georgia, it had been totally legal, right? Like he's doing that, and he's
and
like,
I'm just like, shut up, Mr. Thompson. You are not going to, you know, trick anyone into thinking that what you did with that guy was right. And then I turn to Mr. Bellefontaine, and I'm like, but Mr. Thompson was only ever good to me, and I don't think that he belongs here, at least for what was going on, you know, with the murders. And I'm going to use bot loyalty, which is a move I have.
Mhm.
Give Agent Bellefontaine a string on me. And what I say to him is like, I want you to set this right with Mr. Thompson. There's actual people out there who need to be locked up, like that guy in yellow. But then I look at Mr. Thompson, and I'm like, but Mr. Thompson is harmless.
Agent Bellefontaine considers you very quizzically. And he says, son, Mr. Thompson committed a very, very serious crime, and it would be unethical for me not to reveal this information that I have on him to authorities, local authorities, not a federal matter, as you know. He'll go into those various statutes if you wish, but he says, but, and he closes the manila folder, and he says, maybe we'll revisit that at a later time. Right now, we have other very serious crimes that are, frankly, of more concern to the federal government to deal with. And he sets the manila folder down on the top of his case and he shuts it. He looks at you and he has a string on you, which I think is super interesting right now because it implies that he has some like hold on you in some way, right? Some kind of emotional hold. I'm just going to go to like the natural like place. He's seen you undress. He has kind of been in the middle of this like weird tension with you and Mr. Thompson. And I think like you knowing those things about him, no matter what his intentions are, he like just fixes you like with really, really like warm, considerate eye contact and says, we're going to get to the bottom of this, son. We're going to release this town from the grip of terror. And he gets up and takes his case and says, I assume you can figure your way back to school. There's still 2 hours left in the school day.
You're just going to leave me here?
He's like, yeah, I'm not going back that direction. So
fine. But look, if you're looking to, get who's responsible for those murders, I'm telling you, you have to go for that old guy, that big old guy in yellow, and you have to go for Margot. Because she's a monster.
Just throw Margot under the bus. He's like, hey, thanks for the tip. And then he leaves you. Great. Let's have a scene with Sarah. Sarah's like, Serena, what happened? What's going on?
And so like as she is kind of like looking me for answers, is like I'm trying like to care for her wounds, and like I probably have like something clean up the blood, and maybe I'm like holding it like to her neck and like take her hand to like have her hold it to her neck so the bleeding stops. And I think it's the very tropey, oh yeah, a scarf would be perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And so like I hold it to her neck, put her hand there. It's the very tropey vampire thing, is like as I'm holding her hand to her neck, like I'm staring in her eyes, and it's totally going to be like the hypnotized thing again of
that's
like
some Vampire Diary shit right there.
Oh yeah, totally Vampire Diaries. I think I stare, I'm like, everything's fine. You just had a little bit of like trauma or like seizure type thing. You're going to talk to your parents about maybe like getting epilepsy or checked out things. For right now, you're fine. You just need a little bit of food, a little bit of like sugar to get things back going. And I'm just walking with you to the nurse to make sure that you can take the rest of the day easy.
She has no strings on you, so you can do the hypnotic move if you want.
Cool. Let's do it. I get a 10.
Nice. Let's read that real quick. To do exactly what you wish and have no idea. All right, cool. She's like, yes, I just had a seizure and I definitely need to get that checked out. I'll tell my parents right away. And she's like, she kind of pulls the scarf a little tighter around her neck, which is kind of what you need her to do, right? Like not show the scar, right? Take a couple days to heal, And she's like, Serena, thank you so much.
And I'm like, you're welcome. Just know that I'm here for you if you need something. Just, I know it can be kind of hard with medical things like that. Just let me know and come and help you out if you need me.
Margot, you want to run into Serena in the hall?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like, I think when Margot comes up, like I look at Sarah and I'm like, do you think you can walk the rest of the way to the nurse or whatever it is, like as like Margot is like coming up, just so like she's not quite there.
Yeah. Sarah's like, she's like, I'm feeling better. I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna sign out for the day.
Okay. And then so like, and I turn to Margot and I kind of look at her and I'm like, so I think we both know each other's secrets now.
Yeah, I think we do. We should make a movie together.
We should. We don't have to be on the opposite ends, just like.
Well, not right now while Big Man's around, I hope.
Little detail, you can see like red marks where Big Man's hand
bruised up, kind of.
Yeah,
he did that to the back of my neck that other time.
I know, yeah.
Yep.
I don't have any particular fondness for him, but it seems like you're in a way worse off position with him than I am.
He's talking about like, I don't know, like getting rid of all the lies. And that seems to be anything that's not the woods in its dark form or whatever that's buried down in a dark hole out there.
Yeah, I mean, he went after Sarah, and I did everything I could to...
That's what that was about?
That's what that was about. To keep... Her grandfather or something had a lumber mill, and that threatened the woods, and now she deserves punishment for it, or some crap like that. I don't know. It's messed up, and
Yeah.
she didn't deserve that. And I don't know what that do with this guy. Like, he's some fucking huge Hulk in yellow. Like, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but we got to find some way to... I don't know if we can, like, take him down, but if we can just get rid of him or turn his attention somewhere else.
Can we just...
I can't move. I'm stuck here.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he just wants the forest to be back to the forest. Is like he wants to get rid of all of everyone?
I don't know what the total scope of everyone, but he certainly feels like he's got some sort of accounts to call due, if you would.
I don't want to be the person that he's calling in
Yeah.
favors from.
Indeed. I think that feels like a good place to end the scene. It feels like you guys are kind of like connecting, talking about like what's going on. You're almost common cause, right? Which is good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ellen, you've just finished having your freak out, which is making you feel better, right? And you're composing yourself. If you don't mind, I'd like to retcon, like maybe like before you head back to school with like cracked fingernails. I'd like to retcon and have you back in the woods for just a moment, post scratching and stuff, right, on the grave. And a little ways deeper into the woods, you hear sobbing, crying. Sounds like a man crying. Like, what do you do?
Oh, well, I have to go watch.
Yeah. You get closer to the sobbing. And as you go deeper into the woods, closer to this crying, you occasionally cast your eyes down to the ground. You see like arrangements of rocks and maybe a little path, maybe like something scratched down on the ground that like, it's like giving you flashes of like, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I've seen this before. This like little trail almost as you're kind of like working your way deeper into the forest. And you eventually get to where the sobbing is coming from. Their back is turned to you, so you can't see who it is, but they're crying, they're sobbing, they're on their knees, hunkered down. There's like a tree and like what appears to be like a conspicuously arranged pile of leaves, right? Like mounted up at the base of the tree. And his hand is kind of like fallen down to the side, and he has like a bouquet of flowers like in his hand, and he's just crying. And there's something scratched out on the tree trunk, almost like a tombstone even. What do you do?
I think this is weird enough. I'm actually going to walk forward, slowly, ominously.
And you see on the tree trunk, scratched in there roughly, crudely, you wouldn't even notice it unless you were paying attention for it. It says initials E.G., loving daughter, and some years.
I put my broken nailed hand on the shoulder. I say, "It's okay, Daddy. Let's go home."